Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. Let's start with Brady. You know, Brady's a character that I just have very little to no confidence in whatsoever. He makes up these granted, this is just my perspective of just watching this show for the period that I've watched it. But this guy seems like he just makes harebrained plans on a whim. And against all common sense, he'll just do it. And I don't understand that train of thought. We'll go back to the whole I'm gonna sit there and take away Victor's baby by dismantling Titan, and all the different ways that couldn't work, and even if it somehow did work, how it would screw over everyone else. So now this genius has a plan of trying to get Kristen out by sitting there saying that, well, I'm the one that stabbed Victor. And after a while of begging Victor, and pretty much sitting there saying, well, I'm going to do it with or without your help, Victor's like, you know what? F it. Sure. Whatever. I'm only doing this for you. I'm not doing this for her. And then he goes to the pub to talk to Eric. Well, he goes to the pub. Well, yeah, he goes to the pub to talk to Eric, but also Bella's there, and he wants to sit there and let her in on this idiotic plan of cutting a deal so that we can get reduced time and Kristen can go free. And at first, Bella's just like, I don't think that's a good idea. But I'm sitting there thinking, you know what? This guy doesn't listen to common sense. He doesn't listen to logic. He doesn't listen to reason. And he's damn sure not going to sit there and listen to his lawyer / sister. So at this point, Bella just pretty much goes along with the plan. And I guess there's something to be said about supporting foolishness, but whatever. So the last person he has to sit there and convince is Kristen. And Kristen is just not having it. She pretty much just like, no. So at this point, I think we're just left with Brady sitting there trying to convince Kristen to accept his plan of sacrificing himself to let Kristen go free. I don't even understand how this is going to work. Because Victor even said, I know, Brady does not listen to common sense, but Victor was like, listen, we done changed our stories so many times. This is just not going to work on principle. On paper alone, this isn't going to work. But Brady being Brady, wow, what a character. What a character. That's all I'm going to say, and I'm being nice about it. Let's talk about Eric real quick. He's leaving. And he said goodbye to everyone. And that's it. I said this yesterday, and I'm going to sit there and say this again. Eric comes across as a very boring character. And so him leaving, I'm just like, you know? And again, the whole last night with the whole, his wife sitting there talking about how it's a good idea. I'm like, what? Shouldn't you be convincing him to try to stay, not leave? Whatever. So anyway, he says his goodbyes to everyone, and he doesn't say it to Sammy because he's not getting into another argument with Sammy because, well, why would anyone actually want to get into an argument on purpose with that woman is beyond me. So anyway, he says goodbye to Nicole, and that's pretty much about it. Jesus Christ. I'm just like, who, you know what, since we're on this whole Nicole thing, let's talk about Allie and Sammy. Here's my impression of both of Allie and Sammy. Sammy is annoying, and she reminds me of a Karen. And Allie, here's the thing about Allie. Allie plays her role perfectly because she literally plays the role of a confused teenager slash adult that is still trying to figure out what she's doing. So with that being said, it's like, how mad could you be at a teenager or a young adult that doesn't understand the consequences of her actions? With that being said, yeah, she still comes across as kind of annoying. And that's pretty much what this whole episode is kind of about a little bit. Sammy is just trying to conjure up all these different ways of trying to make sure Nicole doesn't get custody, and, you know, just pretty much just trying to bulldoze her ideas that she knows what's best. Literally. Just in one word, she knows best. And Kate is doing her best to sit there and try to tell Sammy, no, don't do this. You're going to push away your daughter for, I don't know how many times at this point. And that's literally half of their scenes. Actually, to tell you the truth, that's the majority of Kate and Sammy's scenes. And then on the other side of town, you got Allie sitting there trying to get Nicole to take the baby, and Nicole's like, listen, Eric isn't going to be part of the situation. It's just going to be me. So, I don't know about that. I'll talk to Eric, and then we'll just figure it out. Most likely, it's going to be a no. And, you know, Allie was just like, just think about it. At this point, I think Allie, like she said, that she needs to stop getting so upset with stuff that already happened, the stuff that she can't change, and try to fix the stuff that she can. And I feel like at this point, listen, if she doesn't want to be a mother, that is fine. But at this point, maybe it's better to just get an open adoption. You know, and I think that's what it's really going to come down to. And I'm surprised at this point that she is taking so long to actually come up with this plan. But then again, she doesn't really seem like the type of person that plans anything out. So, I guess it is what it is. But at the end of, pretty much, I guess, the whole soap opera, after Kate tells her all the ways that's going to go wrong as far as trying to stop her, trying to stop the judge, you know, Sammy's just trying to figure out every single way that she can to try to get her point across. And when everything else fails, she goes back to basics. And basics means that she's just like, alright, I'm just going to run with the child, and I'm just going to leave. And I'm going to do it before anyone can stop me. Because that's what kind of woman Sammy is. Wow. What a piece of work. And of course, by the time she thinks of, once again, this idiotic plan, Allie's just there to stop her. And we're just going to go back in a circle, I guess, of Sammy actually having legal rights and telling Allie of all the different ways that she pretty much kind of screwed up. As far as not really planning ahead. And again, I'm going to sit there and agree with Sammy. I'm like, listen, I get it, you know, you don't feel you could be a mother, but yet you want to sit there. And I kind of look at it and I'm like, it's kind of a tough one, because on one hand, you know, a lot of people could sit there and look at this and be like, Allie, you gave up your rights as a mother. You know, you don't get to sit there and dictate, like, what happens moving forward. She has legal rights. And it doesn't matter if you don't want her, if you don't want your child to be part of Sammy's life, because you gave that up. So, I don't know, stop whining and shut up. But on the other hand, you could sit there and look at it like, listen, just because Sammy doesn't want to be a mother doesn't mean that she doesn't want what's best for her child. Those rules still apply, and she feels that Sammy it's just not a good idea to have a baby around Sammy. So she still wants what's best for the child, and she doesn't want Sammy to be involved, and she's navigating her best way to try to do what's best for the child without actually having those legal rights. So honestly, tell you the truth, I can see both sides of the spectrum, and I'm just gonna leave it at that because I'm just gonna leave it at that. And let's see. I kind of just don't feel like pausing it again. Okay. And the last scene that I feel like I should talk about is Eli and Lonnie. Because here's the thing. I'm trying to hear out Lonnie's position, her stance on this whole I'm upset with Eli. Eli came into the squad room to sit there and talk to Lonnie. And Kristen was there. And Lonnie was just like, just being... This went past the point of being difficult. This is past the point of that. This is one of those points where I feel like she was just being like, no, I don't want to hear you, blah, 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 get out, yada, yada, yada. And then she tells Kristen, like, I don't know if I can ever forgive him. And I'm like, sweetheart, you might want to just kind of just, like, take a beat for a minute, you know? Because you could be upset with somebody all you want. You could be angry and mad. You get into fights with people, but, like, is it worth losing him over? You know? She's all like, you know, you raised your child by yourself, you know, I could do the same. I'm like, listen, you don't want to, you're sitting there saying stuff in the heat of the moment that, you know, you may not be able to take back. So, before you just get all, you know, digging your heels and getting all upset, because she was kind of annoying me in this episode, you might want to just kind of just take a beat and be like, is it worth losing your man over this? You know, this is literally what Kristen was sitting there saying, like, yo, I get that he screwed me over, but is it worth losing him over? You know? And it was a part of her that didn't want that to happen, that she wanted to sit there and reach out. When he confessed his feelings towards her, like, listen, I'm just going to be open and honest in front of her, despite the fact that I pretty much don't like her, you know, she felt something, and she didn't want to admit it, but she felt something. So, Kristen had to literally be the person to talk sense into her. And I gotta be honest with you, if I was in that position, I might have been like, I don't know, I gotta be honest, I'm not really as forgiving as most people are in this world. I'm not saying I cut people off just for whatever, but, like, I don't know if I would have had that type of patience, and there might have been a part of me being like, okay, you know what, fine. And that's literally what had happened. So it's a good thing that Kristen did talk some sense into her, because she was like, you know what, listen, I don't know if I can get past this, but I'm willing to try. And I give Eli props, because most men, there would have been some men that might not have taken that path of being as patient as he was. So, yeah. And that's literally it for this episode. I feel like there might have been more, but no. No, there really wasn't. And if it was so significant that I don't remember. And if I don't remember, then I guess it just was not that important. So, with that being said, I'm going to head out. Thank you so much for watching. I know, again, apologies, the review came out so late, but Mondays is my late day. And tomorrow is my day off, so I can actually try to do my review a lot earlier if, you know, let's say there's not a news interruption, or, because let's be honest, I actually have to start working out. So, as long as that stuff doesn't get in the way, I should actually be good tomorrow to do my review on time. But I never like to sit there and make full promises, because anything can happen. But I will do my best to actually put out my review tomorrow morning time. And with that being said, I'm going to head out. Thank you so much for watching. Be safe. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Let me know what you think of Brady as a character, because, again, I'm just coming into this as a new person, and wow. He comes across this as incompetent. at best, he comes across as incompetent. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think of his character. Let me know what you think of this episode. Thank you for watching. Be safe. I will catch you in the next review.